Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Zebroon. This is episode 10 of our lessons. On this episode, I'm going to teach you how to bypass iCloud on passcode mode or disable mode, iPhone from 6 to iPhone X. I know most of you are interested in this video, so before I dive into it, if today is your first time watching my videos, kindly give me a follow, also subscribe, press notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I post a video. So before we dive into it, I would like to explain a couple of things before we dive into it. So the method we are going to use today is called RAM disk, and someone will ask, what is RAM disk? And this is the simple way I will use to explain RAM disk. So RAM disk is just a temporary operating system which runs on the device before the device reboot. After the device reboot, there is no RAM disk. You have to rerun it again. It's the same way like jailbreak. If you jailbreak an iPhone and the phone reboot, there is no jailbreak. You have to redo it again. So without further ado, let's dive into how we do it. Okay, guys. So if you have Unlocktool and you log into Unlocktool for the first time, this is the interface you see. On your right hand side, you see Apple here because today this is the tab we are going to focus on. So let's click on Apple and click on Understand. So there are so many tabs and buttons here, but today, as I explained to you, we are going to focus on RAM disk. So let me click on RAM disk. And as you can see, there are also so many buttons here which we are going to learn each and every one step by step. Pay attention because from here you can get confused, right? So there's something called RAM disk which I explained to you. You're supposed to have the RAM disk loaded here. So if you don't have it loaded here, you have to download your RAM disk and load it here. So I'm going to walk you through how you can download the RAM disk and load it here. But before we do so, you're supposed to know the phone that you are about to bypass, the current operating system on that particular phone, I mean the iOS version. So how do you know if since the phone is on passcode mode or disable? You have to boot the phone into recovery mode. If you don't know how to boot iPhone in recovery mode, I think you should Google it or watch it on YouTube. So let's say iPhone 7 and you boot it into recovery mode by holding volume down and connect USB cable. It will go to recovery mode whilst the phone is off, right? So when the phone is on recovery mode, you can click on this tab which is Read OS. So Read OS will read the iOS version on that particular phone, so you will know the current OS on that particular device. So after knowing the OS, let's assume that the OS on it is iOS 15, right? So we need RAM disk for iOS 15. So how do we get RAM disk for iOS 15? To download the RAM disk, there's a button here called download, which you can click on it and it will take you to the Unlocktool website for you to download the RAM disk. When you download the RAM disk, you will have something like a zip file. So let me show you how. Okay, so as you can see, this is RAM disk I have downloaded for iOS 15, right? So if you open the zip file or the WinRAR file, this is what you are going to see, right? So how do we get this file installed here? Because as you can see, if I click here, you don't see any RAM disk here. It's only the generic one you see. So how do we install it? Let's minimize the Unlocktool, or we can bring this one, the folder forward, right? So let's go to computer, right? We go to your computer, on your drive C, open it, and you will see Unlocktool here. Open Unlocktool and you will see data files. Open data files and you will see Apple folder. Open this Apple folder and then extract this to the Apple folder like that. Then close everything. So now you may not see it here. If you want it simple way, just close the Unlocktool and reopen it, and you will see it here. The other way to do it, we can click on select RAM disk if we don't want to close the two. So click on select RAM disk, go to your computer, drive C, Unlocktool, data files, and then Apple folder. And then you can see, select this folder, and then you can have your RAM disk here, iOS 15 RAM disk. You see how simple it is. But if you want the shorter way, just close the two and then reopen it, and then you will see the RAM disk here. So now, we know the phone we have is iPhone 7, and we also know that the phone has iOS 15. So what we have to do first is we have to put the phone into a mode which is a developer mode called #DFU mode. But before we do that, we have to put the phone into DFU mode before we can pound it. So what you do is you click on this #DFU mode. There are so many options which you are going to get. You can use the option 1, it works for me, or you can try any other option, but just click on option 1. So the next thing you have to do is to put your phone into DFU mode. So there are so many ways to put iPhone into DFU mode depending on the model you have. For iPhone 5S to iPhone 6S Plus, turn off the phone, connect USB cable, hold the home key, press the power key. When the screen goes off, release the power key, keep holding the home key, and then it will go to DFU. iPhone 7, off the phone, connect USB cable, hold volume down and the power key together. Couple of minutes, let the power key go, keep holding volume down, and it will go to DFU. iPhone 8 and iPhone X, press volume up, volume down, hold only power key. When screen goes off, let power key go and hold volume down, and it will go to DFU. If you don't know how to do it, just Google it or watch it on YouTube. Okay, so now if your phone is on DFU mode, you can use 3U2 to monitor it, how or which mode your phone is in. So if 3U2 shows you that your phone is in DFU mode, just reconnect the USB cable for iPhone 7 and you will see the #DFU mode will be successful. So when the #DFU mode is successful like that, all you have to do is to select the RAM disk for that particular device. So you select the RAM disk and then you boot the RAM disk. So booting the RAM disk is when you watch some of my videos and you see so many text rolling on the phones. So you boot the RAM disk. After the RAM disk is done booting successfully, the next thing you should do is to back up the passcode on the device. So this is where people don't understand. When the phone is on disable or unavailable or passcode mode, the activation data is already on the phone because the phone is not erased yet. So this is a way to get the activation data, back them on your PC before we reset it. So click on backup passcode and it will back up the passcode or the activation files to your PC. So after backing them up, the next option you should click is factory reset, and then the phone will reset and go to hello mode. So on your hello screen, you run the same process, but it will not include downloading RAM disks because you have already downloaded RAM disks and load them. So the second running you are going to do #DFU mode, put the phone on DFU mode and make sure #DFU mode is successful. After successful #DFU mode, the RAM disk maybe it's already selected, but if it's not, just select it and boot the RAM disk. After booting the RAM disk and the RAM disk is done booting successfully, just use restore backup plus disable OT or restore backup. Any of these two will work, but the difference between them is if you use restore backup, the phone, you can update the phone, and which probably it will lead to locking the phone again. Or maybe if you want to sell the phone to somebody and you reset it, the iCloud will still come back on top. So that is the difference. But if you use restore backup disable OT, the user, or as for you, you cannot reset the phone, or you cannot update the phone, you cannot do anything to the phone. The only way you can reset the phone is to download firmware and restore it, or use Unlocktool and wipe it with this factory reset right here. Other than that, you can't reset the phone, you can't update it. But if you use this option, you can do so, but it can lock the phone and get you into trouble or something like that. So it's up to you to choose. So guys, that is how you bypass the passcode on iPhone 6 to iPhone X. So let me quickly run the process again before I end the video. 1. After you have your RAM disk loaded, make sure you know the OS version on the phone so you can load the appropriate RAM disk. First of all, pound DFU mode and put the phone into DFU mode. When the DFU mode is successfully, select RAM disk which is compatible with the one already on the phone. Boot the RAM disk. After booting the RAM disk successfully, back up the passcode. After backing up the passcode successfully, reset the phone. After resetting the phone successfully and the phone comes back to hello screen, pound DFU again, boot RAM disk again. This time around, we are not resetting it. We are restoring the backup that we backed them onto our PC. So you can either choose this one or choose this one. That is up to you. So that is how you bypass it, because if you choose this one, after the phone reboot, it will jump into home screen. You don't need to do the activation process. But if you choose this one, you have to go through the activation process, but it won't ask you for Apple ID. So that is how it's done. Guys, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Press the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I post a video. My name is Zebroon. Enjoy the rest of my videos. Peace.